Good afternoon, and welcome back to Retired Guy's Garage. So, what do we got going on today? Well, we got kind of a fun project today. I think the cool part about this channel is you just never know what I'm going to work on next, because really, for the most part, I don't know what I'm going to work on next. So today is one of those days. I really didn't know what I was going to work on today. It's a rainy, miserable Saturday afternoon, and probably not one that I want to spend a whole lot of time out in the garage in. Let's face it. It's cold, it's miserable, it's damp, and I really want to be in the house where it's warm. So, ever since I was a little kid, I always loved trains. I've had a train set. I still have my train set from when I was a young boy. And let's keep the jokes as to how long ago that was. Let's not get that. Let's not go there. But so I decided, and we'll take you inside here in just a few minutes, into the bonus room, that it was time to maybe get rid of the air hockey table, and I was thinking about maybe getting back into trains again. So, but I didn't want to go through the expense and the hassle and all that rigmarole of building a train set from scratch, a train layout from scratch, I should say. So I didn't. What I did was got on the old Facebook Marketplace and tried to find one for a reasonable amount of money. And I have come to find out that there is no such thing, at least not easily found, train layouts that are reasonable. They don't exist. I was looking at train layouts of anywhere from 6 to 8 upwards of, gosh, I think I saw one on there for like $6,000. What train layout? I don't know. But anyway, I wasn't going to pay that much. If it was going to be more than a couple $100, I was just going to leave the trains right in the shed where they've been for the past many years, and that was going to be the end of that project. But as luck would have it, found a gentleman, and kind of a cool story behind this one, and I'll show it to you here in just a second. But kind of a cool story behind this one. This is a train layout that this gentleman built when he was, I think he said he was 10 or 12 years old. So it's been around a hot minute, and it needs some repairs, not gonna lie. But repairs I can do. Building one from scratch, not so much. So with the hard work done, we just have to go in and find out what's working, what's not working. There's pieces and parts of the track missing, and there's pieces and parts of the buildings missing, and yada, yada, yada. So, but what we have to do first is, he had it, I'm not even sure how he had it set up, but the legs were wobbly and not really all that great. I think it may have been on hinges that it sat back against a wall and they weren't. I don't know what it was or how it was put up when he was using it, but all of that stuff is no good. So today we're going to build a base for the layout. The layout is about 4.5 feet wide by almost 10 feet long, so it's a fairly good sized layout. I kind of got you in a little bit in the middle of this. I apologize for that, but I've already cut the legs. We figured out how tall we want this thing to be when it's done, and I've already cut the legs. So we're basically just going to build a rectangle box out of 2x4s and 4x4s. And brace it up a little bit so that it's not wobbly, because it's not super heavy, but it's heavy enough that I don't want it to be wobbly. So, but that's where we're at. So let me put you on hold here for just a second, and I'll take you over and show you what we're working with. Stick around. Oh, okay. So obviously this hasn't been used in many years. However, the bones of it are still in really good shape. As you can see, some of the buildings and the towers are falling down, but let's remember that it's sitting on its side, not flat the way it should be. So some of the buildings are not in the greatest of shape. You can see some are missing parts. and some of them are in really great condition. So, and he did give me a box of parts and trains and train cars and locomotives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I have a bunch of train cars and tracks and stuff like that from my train set when I was younger. Mine did not look anything like this. This is really nice compared to the one I had when I was younger. So kudos to the gentleman that sold this to me. And I should say, and I use the word sold very loosely. When I got there, he actually ended up giving it to me for free. So super nice gentleman out in, where is he? He was out in Cumming, Georgia. So that was pretty cool of him, really nice of him. And looking forward to getting it inside the house and getting it hooked up and see what we got to do to get it fixed. So like I said, as you can see, there's several pieces of track that are missing here. That I think goes back here somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I think this switch goes back here, or maybe it's here. I'm not really sure. But then there's tracks missing here as well. So I've got a whole box of parts, and hopefully I'm hoping that there's parts to some of these buildings that are missing parts, so I can put some of these buildings back together again, because they're really cool. And it's crazy. These are all Tyco buildings, and I'll tell you what, man, these things are pretty pricey. Just this Union 76 gas station piece alone, I saw on eBay this last night, was $50. So there is quite a bit of money sitting here. So I can't wait to get it put together and get the trains running back on it again. But for now, what we need to do is we need to finish building the box, the rectangle, and then we are going to go ahead and remove all the plywood off of this side of the board, so that I'll have access to all the wiring. Because each one of these buildings, believe it or not, I thought this was really cool. This is actually a Kentucky Fried Chicken building, Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant. So I thought that was kind of cool. But each one of these buildings, as you can see, and towers, etc., are illuminated. They have lights inside them. So, but I need to be able to get to access. I need to get be able to access the wiring for all that to get this thing going again. So, and to do that, I'm going to have to take all that bottom plywood off. What I may do is I may end up taking that plywood, the plywood that I take off of this, and I may end up screwing it down to the rectangle box that I build. So, haven't decided yet, but stick with me. I'll bring some 2x4s out here and we'll start cutting those. All right, so I said that we're going to do the base is going to be made out of 2x4s and 4x4s. So we're going to build the top out of 2x4s, and then I'm going to put in a center. I'm going to put another bracing around the center, middle of the legs as well, just to strengthen it up a little bit. And then I'm going to run cross braces in the middle too. There's actually going to be a leg on each end and then a leg in the middle on both of them, on both sides. And I'm going to run cross braces on the middle leg as well to just strengthen it up that much more. So I'm going to get a little fancy on the corner joints. Instead of running the 2x4s out and button them up against each other, I'm actually going to 45 them so that they make a nice clean corner. So we'll see what happens. Been a while since I've done any woodworking, so this may or may not work. But so anyway, got my chop saw out. I got the 45-degree angle set already. And then, so let's get this one cut and see what happens. All right, so there's my first cut, 45. Of course, I'll take a piece of sandpaper and sand this off a little bit and knock these sharp corners off. Lather, rinse, repeat. I've got to get my measurement. I believe this board is going to be the long one. It's going to need to be, I believe it's 110 3/4. So let me just double check that. 110 3/4 to the inside edge. So I do believe, but I'm going to double check that. Anyway, so let me double check that and we'll bring it back in a few seconds. All right, so rule number one when you're doing woodworking and when you're doing any kind of measuring and cutting, measure twice, cut once. Ask me how I know. So, as it turns out, I went and rechecked my measurements, and it was going to be 110 3/4 to the long side. So, luckily, I went back and checked it and looked at it again. So, I wouldn't have wasted this. I don't know if y'all have been to the lumber store recently, but lumber is not cheap these days. So, but yeah. So I would have wasted this entire piece, and that would have been bad because then I'd have to go back to Lowe's and get another piece. So, all right, let's make this final cut on this piece. That's the old piece out of the other one. There we go. No wonder it wouldn't cut. Not good. I'm like, why will this not cut? All right. So that is piece number one. And like I said, just going to be lather, rinse, and repeat. I'm going to have to, I'll cut another piece exactly this length, 110 3/4, and then we'll figure out the end, I shouldn't say side, these are the side pieces, the two end pieces, the length for the two end pieces here in just a minute. So hang around. Made the last cut, and as I was making my way through the measuring and the cutting, I realized that I'm short. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm gonna need more lumber. Story of my life. But I do have enough to at least get the top put together completely, the upper perimeter put together, and the center sections. I've got the long, the 110 3/4 sections cut. So I've got enough to do that. So let's head in the house and start putting it together. Be right back. All right. So if you watched one of the earlier videos, way earlier videos from way back when I was working on the jukebox, there used to be a big old air hockey table right in this corner right here. And yeah, we decided that was time for that to go to another home, namely my daughter and stepson, and son-in-law, I'm sorry. My daughter and son-in-law, they have it now so the kids can use it. So I've got the two end pieces, the two end legs on. I'm working on the middle one right now. I just kind of measured about halfway. It's 110 3/4, so about 55 3/8 or so. This is right about halfway, so we're going to stab this leg in the middle, and then we're going to build another long one just like this for the other side, and hopefully connect the two together and have it be the right size. Fingers crossed. So, the only thing I am going to show you what I'm doing on this one is I just kind of want to make sure this leg is pretty much, yeah, as close to 90 degrees as possible. And I would say that's pretty darn close right there. Matter of fact, I'd say that's Close enough. Close enough for government work. So I'm using what are these, 3-inch? Yeah, 10 by 3. Unfortunately, these have the Torx head on them. I don't really like these. I know they're better for, you know, building purposes, but I'm kind of old school. I kind of like the Phillips head ones better. And of course, it said there was a bit included in the kit, and there wasn't. So I had to go steal one out of the garage. So. Am I going to go so far as to countersink these and fill them? No, it'll be underneath. They'll be underneath the table. You won't be able to see them, so or hardly be able to see them. And besides that, I'm going to paint this. I'm going to paint the whole base gray color, so probably won't even be able to see them. So anyway, that's the first one. We're going to go ahead and get one more. I'm probably going to go a little bit lower than halfway, kind of down toward the bottom, but I still want to be able to, if need be, have a pivot point down here that I could swing it around a door if I had to. I don't think I would, but if I had to. And then this way, that way this isn't all the way on the ground either, on the floor either when I'm doing it, when it's sitting there. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to make another one, lather, rinse, repeat on the other side for the other side. And then we're going to connect the two together and, excuse me, fingers crossed, this is the right size. Measure twice, cut once. Yeah, sometimes it works. So, hang around. I'll bring it back when I'm putting it all together. One side down. So basically just on this bottom piece, checked with the structural engineers, and they recommended I come up 4 inches from, no, I didn't do any of that. I just arbitrarily came up with 4 inches from the bottom and screwed this bottom piece in, so, yeah. Should. Yeah, we'll go with that. Anyway, so, gonna put y'all on pause for just a little while, and I'm gonna build the other side and bring it back when we connect the two together, and hopefully when I measure it after it's all put together, it's going to be the correct width and length. Fingers crossed. Well, this is it. I missed by a 1/16 of an inch on the width. Dang it. Yeah, well, it'll make it. Promise, it'll fit. But anyway, this is the semi-completed, and why do I say it's semi-completed? Because garage guy didn't get enough wood. So I need to head back on to Lowe's in McDonough, and grab 1, 2, 3 more 2x4s, and probably some more screws, because I think I underestimated the screws too. But that is the way it goes sometimes. And that's what happens when you really haven't built anything with lumber lately, because you've been working on cars and mowers and that kind of stuff. So, but this was a fun little project. Not done yet. I will go to Lowe's and grab some more lumber and bring it back and show you the finished product. But I'm pretty sure that this, once we get the bottom 2 braces in and the center braces in, that this thing would probably hold up this house. Carla picks on me all the time, says I overbuild everything, but I always say better be overbuilt than underbuilt. So let me put you on hold for just a little while. I'm gonna run up to Lowe's real quick, grab a couple 2x4s and some more screws, and get this thing finished up. And then for the crowning moment, we'll bring the layout in and set it up on top. So stick with me. there you have it. One way overbuilt framing for the train table. Way overbuilt. This probably could have held a real train. But anyway, getting late already tonight, so I'm going to call it for tonight. I've got everything done. These middle supports are mostly for the table itself, so that it doesn't do one of these numbers. So that's why I put those in there. And that'll put the support as well, but mostly it'll support the train table itself. But yeah, so that's going to do it for tonight. And tomorrow we're going to paint it and get the train table on top of it and see what it looks like. But not quite sure how it happened, but I measured it and it actually is right on. That never happens. Anyway, I'll see you in the morning. Good afternoon. It is afternoon. It's going to be back on this in the morning, but stuff happens. So, next step on this, we finished up building it last night, sort of. Just came up with another idea this morning to give us a little bit of storage underneath here. I think I'm going to add a couple more 2x4s on each end and lay some plywood down. Maybe one in the middle for strength. Not sure yet. But for right now, next step is going to be to get this, get it painted. So that's what we're going to do. I've got a feeling I do not have enough paint. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, I don't have enough paint. But anyway, let's get started. Picked out a gray color, pewter gray, because I checked, and the best color, no, I didn't do any of that, no. That's the only gray color that Lowe's had last night, so that's why I've got that. So, all right, let's get started. Well, got it painted. That took about 3 times longer than I thought it would. Apparently there's a lot more lumber on this thing than I thought there was. But anyway, got done, and less than a quart of paint, and so that cryolan paint really covered well on the first coat. Just for appearance sake, I went ahead and did a second coat on the outside edges. Those are that won't be up against the wall, and you won't be able to see them anyway. So I didn't bother doing a second coat on the rest of it, but that is going to wrap it up for today. Hoping maybe later, in a little while, we're going to get the tarps out and kind of start scooting this thing over to where it's going to be, where it's going to live up against the wall, and or over toward the wall anyway. And me and Miss Carla will get the table in here and get it set on top and moved into place. So, and that'll be for tomorrow's video. Get you in here and have y'all go look at that and see what it looks like. Because really and truly, I don't really haven't gotten the whole scope of it. It's hard to tell when it's sitting up on its side like that what it really looks like. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Can't wait to get it in here and get it on the. And of course, my dog starts barking naturally. Get it up on the table and see what it looks like. So, and maybe get a transformer hooked up to it and see if it's got any power, what works, what doesn't. So that'll all be tomorrow. So that's going to do it for tonight, and see you in the morning. Good morning. All right. Well, where we left off yesterday was we had the base finished and painted. So Miss Carl and I got out in the garage and brought in the table, and actually went better than I expected. Luckily it had wheels on one end, so we just kind of rolled it in here and then flipped it up because it was backwards in the garage. That I know you probably don't understand what the heck I'm talking about, but anyway, it was backwards, so we had to flip it around and lift the bottom up first and slide it in that way. So it was a project, but all in all, it went very well. And went and started digging through. Of course, all of the stuff that's on here right now, with the exception of the transformer, is the way it came. Is the way I got it. So what I did was I went and dug through my train stuff and found my transformer, so I could see if I could make this thing work. So, and as you can see, well, there we go. I'm sure that switch is dirty because that thing is, my trains have been in storage for probably at least 40 years. No. Yeah, 40. I think we figured out 40, 45 years or so. A long time. Wow, really? That's kind of depressing, actually. Anyway, so this is my original transformer from my train set when I was a kid. And as you can see, we've got the lights working. However, we still have gaps in the track, so we really can't make the train work. But we need to do some, change some things around on the train to make it work. Well, I believe that these are the power wires for the track. At least that's what I'm hoping. These wires that come out here are the power for everything else, lighting, etc. And I'm hoping that these two red wires are the power for the track, which will also screw into the side of the transformer. So, with that being said, we need to make some kind of a, I don't know, like a small table or something that we can mount this to. I'm actually thinking about maybe putting it on a hinge so I can possibly fold it up when I'm not using it, so I don't keep banging into it. But first things first for this morning, obviously, gray, not gray. So good, not good. So this is going to be the first project, if I could talk. I clearly have not had enough coffee yet. First project for this morning is going to be painting this wood gray and getting that to match. And then I'm going to move the transformer over. I'm going to disconnect these wires for the lighting. What I'm going to do eventually, at some point in time today, I'm going to remove this crossing. It doesn't make any sense, so it's time to get that out of there. There's going to be I'm putting in a bridge here that will go over the road. As you can tell, this was original. This seems to have been added on at some point in time. And this one actually works. I know you can't see it, but the little guy pops out of the door, so pretty cool. I actually have a brand new one of these in the box that I bought that is all in one piece, and hopefully the light works. So, with that being said, first thing to do, first things first, and I've kind of been sorting through the buildings as well. There's buildings that were in the box. I have to figure out what went here. I don't know. Something went here. I have, I think, two more buildings in the box parts the gentleman gave me. So I have to figure out what went here, and I will figure that out by its size. I know there's a church in there for one of the buildings, but I don't think it's quite big enough for this. I'm not sure. But we'll figure that out later. But for right now, we gotta get to painting. So that's gonna be my project for this morning, and I'll bring you back when that's done. So it definitely looks like a disaster right now, but there is a method to my madness. We have a plan. I'm just not really sure what that plan is yet. As soon as I know, I'll let y'all know. Anyhow, so got this painted. That was one of the things I wanted to get done today. Got the disaster down there taken apart and redone, so I'm not quite sure why they did what they did. I'm going to replace that railroad crossing with that railroad crossing. Has a little guy that kind of pops in and out with when the train goes over it, so that's kind of cool. And fortunately and unfortunately, the two red wires here that I thought were power to the track is actually power for other lights on the layout. So we've not, there is no power to the track as of right now. Power to the track comes in right here, and what I may end up doing, unfortunately, is just having to kind of, I may have to hide it somehow with maybe some scenery or something, and just run it down and across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a little shelf here that's going to be on I think I'm going to do a hinge under here, so it can kind of flip up when I need it, and it can sit underneath the, and more than likely what I'm going to do is have it fold all the way under and kind of make a little hook for it so that it stays under there when it's not in use. So several cool things. A little flashing light on the water tower, that's kind of cool. Apparently it's the city of Bedford, I guess. Anyhow, yeah, so that's where we're at. If I can get to the point, if I can get the crossing that's already wired in there, if I can get a light bulb in there and make that work, I've got several of those, including one in my trains from when I was a child. So right as of now, this is all stuff that came with the layout. So, but we got the lights working. Almost all the lights working. There's a couple out, and that's just the way it is. We're not gonna lose much sleep over that. I mean, like I said, this layout's probably 30 plus years old, so still got to figure out. I've got some type of building that needs to go here. I don't know what that is yet. I've got a building that needs to go here. I don't know what that is yet. That building I've started to reconstruct from parts, which are here. This is actually the roof for that building. And that building back there is a Budweiser brewery factory. So that's kind of cool. I think I have all the parts for it, but I'm not positive. So this big stack of parts right here, walls and such, are for that. So, but that's where we're at. And I think the next step is, and then of course another thing I want to do is I want to mount the power strip back here so that it's kind of hidden away, and so that the wire is, the wire's not laying on the floor and looking messy. So I'll run the wires up, the power wire up around with some wire staples and get that tidied up and get this shelf built, and then I'll actually physically mount these transformers to that shelf. So why two transformers, you might ask? So I had this one. I don't even know if this one would run a train. I'm not sure. I've never used it as such. I just kind of picked that up somewhere. I don't even remember where. Remember, I haven't even seen any of these parts in probably the better part of 40 some years. So, but what I did do is I'm using this second power pack to run the secondary lighting system so that not all the lights are running off of this power pack. So this transformer. So spread the light load out a little bit. The wires, if I try to run them all off one power pack, the lights tend to dim down. So it's these things are old. Yeah, they're old, so splitting the lights into two separate circuits, which I'm glad the gentleman I got it from that built it, I'm glad you did that, because it actually helps the lights to stay clearer. So anyway, but that's where we're at. Next thing is getting this wiring tidied up, getting these transformers mounted on the shelf, and we'll go from there. I'm waiting for a bridge, a trestle bridge for that end. I'm gonna have to order a second one from that for that end to get this thing ready to connect all the tracks back together. I'll have to dig into my trains in order to be able to get enough track to connect the tracks back together again. So there's a few pieces missing that didn't come with it. So, but that's where we're at. And but all in all, coming along pretty well. And so you might ask yourself, well, hey, why are you messing around with this? You know, you got tons of crap in the garage to be working on. And that's very true. I don't dispute that. I do. You know, we got the Trans Am to be working on. We got the golf cart that we need to work on. So tons of crap in the garage that needs to be worked on. But let's face it, it's the middle of February and it's cold outside. I just don't want to be working out in the garage in this cold weather. I really don't. So y'all get to be old someday. I'm 62, so you know the days of me working out in the garage in 30-degree weather. Even though I've got heat out there, it's just rather be in here where the weather's warm. You know, where the temperature's nice and warm, and working on this. So this is something I've wanted to do for years and years and years. I've wanted to get my trains back out and do another layout. Just never had the time and the space to do it. But getting rid of the hockey table and setting this up, that was a nice trade-off. I think I like it. So anyway, with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for this video. We'll come back again after I've got the tray, the shelf made for the transformers, and got the track all put together, and the train running, and some of the buildings put together. But that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. This was a lot of fun. Something like I said, something I haven't played with for the better part of probably 45 years or so. This was a lot of fun. And if you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. And of course, you'd do me a huge favor if you would just go ahead and subscribe. You're right there hitting that like button anyway. So it doesn't cost you a plug nickel. Slide your mouse on over and mash that subscribe button. Help me out a lot. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to have your own Retired Guys Garage t-shirt, head on over to my Etsy store, retiredguysgarage.etsy.com. Pick yourself up a t-shirt or a hat. I'd really appreciate that. That would help out the channel and help support the channel. So that'd be great if you could do that. Catch me on Instagram, Facebook, and right here on YouTube at the Retired Guys Garage. On X at TRGG2024. And if you'd like to shoot me an email, by all means, TRGG2024@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you put some comments down below. Anything you'd like to see me do with this, or maybe something you would have done differently. So that being said, appreciate y'all watching so very much. It means more to me than you'll ever know. And until the next time, please be safe. Take care of yourselves. And bye for now. Thanks for watching.